What was she on? She was on Science and Soul with Dr. Kristen Holmes. This came out 4 days ago. Annie Thorzarder went on this podcast, and she had a lot to say, and most of it was good. And for the record, I like Annie. I like Annie a lot. She just tends to have issues with remembering how things went. So let's cue this up. She is talking about the 2015 CrossFit Games when she did Murph here.
I'm like trying to run, I'm trying to navigate, I'm stumbling, I'm falling, I'm like, what is happening? And then like they get my body temperature, like, and no one is allowed to give me water, by the way, which I think is absolutely insane. Yeah. So
you can't have water during that entire time?
Apparently there were coolers there that had water in it. Not know then that you were allowed to just go and get water from there. Frederick tried to give me water. Some in the audience tried to give me water. Like when I'm running and I'm stumbling, they're trying to give me water, and it's like, no, not allowed to get anything. So it's just like, I just want something to pour over me, you know?
I was thinking about that, and I was like, man, I wonder if there's any truth to what she's claiming. I wonder if we could just go back and, I don't know, check the footage, right? Maybe we can just see what happened at the 2015 Murph Games. And weirdly enough, we pulled this clip up right here.
But they did get the body armor off of her before they brought her out. So we did just see her, again, brought out of the stadium here on a stretcher right behind her.
That's weird. I just thought that she said they didn't have water. And when people tried to give her water and she just wanted to dump it on her head, it wasn't available. It wasn't there. Wow. Seems to me like not only is there water, but it's being provided by CrossFit HQ. Also, interestingly enough, when I clipped this thing out or played it, you could hear them talking about Cara Sanders, who got pulled off in a stretcher there. So, I mean, needless to say, they definitely got jacked up during that because of the heat. And they had water stations. Okay, so let's go back to Annie here. So already you're thinking like, oh man, that ain't good. That's not a good look. That's not a good look. So let's play on to see what she's got to say here.
And I'm scared of swimming. Like, I'm an okay swimmer, but I wasn't used to ocean. So when I was in the ocean, I was more scared. But I've always told myself, and I've even said it out loud, I'm not willing to die for this sport. And I've also said, I'm not going to die. I'm going to be saved. I'm not going to die. And just the fact that I have said that to myself so many times and then this happened feels like just such a heavy trust that has been broken.
Okay, there's something very interesting in that statement. We're going to pull back just a little bit more so we could re-listen to it. Listen carefully.
Always told myself, and I've even said it out loud, I'm not willing to die for this sport. And I've also said, I'm not going to die. I'm going to be saved. I'm not going to die. And just the fact that I have said that.
I've said that to myself. I said. One more time.
That I will be okay. But I admit, like, you get really scared when you compete, and you're pushing yourself, like I was saying, like you're pushing yourself to the physical and mental limit. And when I've been scared, which I have been, and I am scared of swimming, like I'm an okay swimmer, but I wasn't used to ocean. So when I was in the ocean, I was more scared. But I've always told myself, and I've even said it out loud, I'm not willing to die for this sport. And I've also said, I'm not going to die. I'm going to be saved. I'm not going to die. And just the fact that I have said that to myself so many times and then this happened feels like just such a...
Okay, so I've created this story and this reality around me that I will be protected. I know that I'm putting myself in situations that I'm going to push to the limit of my physical and mental capability. We just saw in the last clip, she pushed past her physical capability because her mind allowed her to. So now she's building this story in her mind that if I push myself to the limit, I will be saved. This is moving it from the control of you, saying, I won't get myself into that situation, or at least I prepared, or at least whatever you could do to bring it within your control. Instead, you're framing a story that I will be saved.
Heavy trust that has been broken. After the games, the aftermath, we, like the athlete committee, kind of ask for certain things. We have like a union that tries to represent us and ask for certain things, and I was one of the. So Lazar was actually on there, and I took his spot on the committee for a short time, and I put my name down on like certain changes that we wanted to see, and the fact that none of those changes were met just made me, I don't know, like I
love the concerned look. What are the changes? Now, if Dr. Kristen Holmes here was worth half her weight in an interview, she would have asked what specifically were the changes. And then, of course, Annie's going to start to allude to them, which is like, we need more protocol around safety and yada, yada, yada.
Everything I've said here, you know how much I love this sport. You know how much it's changed my life and how passionate I am about it. I have CrossFit Reykjavik in Iceland and beautiful gym. We have over 1,000 members and so many lives that we're changing and affecting in this fitness mythology.
But at the tip of the spear, a few of us go and put ourselves in intentional harm by pushing our bodies to the physical and mental absolute limit in the hopes of that somebody is going to come save us, because it's not our responsibility, it's the event's responsibility. And when something goes wrong with the tip of the spear, even though I have this beautiful gym, amazing community, it's provided me everything I have in my life. It's provided help in the community for thousands of people inside Iceland. I found my husband there, everything. But yet, you know what? It's not really going to be for anybody else in the future, because I had these beliefs about things. A tragedy occurred. Those beliefs were shattered. And now nobody else is deserving of this, because we need change. What change? Well, we need more money. We want Dave Castro fired, but we can't just come and say that, because then everybody will know it's complete bullshit. So we just have to have this facade of change.
Community. I've grown up in this community and I appreciate this community so much. It's helped me through a lot of lows as well.
I just don't want to see it survive for another 20 years.
But that doesn't mean that I need to be okay with everything then the people that are running CrossFit commit to. We've asked for changes. We've asked for changes in the past. We've gotten promises. We've gotten an athlete committee and that just got dissolved.
An athlete committee, a group of us formed and said, hey, we want to change what you do, because the reality of the situation is we think it ought to be done differently than you guys are doing it. So we need to be in charge. And then we gathered ourselves together in a group to make these decisions. What?
Year or two later, it's like it's patches that we get to try to make us feel better. And then you have the people that are like, okay, then just don't compete, that come out there. It's like, you realize how hard it is to not compete when it's a sport that you love. But it was a decision I made because of the way they were handling things. But it doesn't mean that I am leaving the CrossFit community. It just meant that was the only thing I can do. I don't have a lot of power other than me participating, and me participating just felt wrong to me. I'm not judging anyone that makes other decisions. It's a livelihood for a lot of us.
Okay. Interestingly enough here, just to remind ourselves of the care that Annie got or didn't get, I would hate to leave you hanging on the 2015 games, right? Because they don't have anything in place. They don't care. We need changes. By the way, who is in charge of the games in 2015? Oh, is Dave Castro.
Being helped by Angel Forbes and the blue shirt medical staff now attending to Annie.
Yeah. Okay. As if they weren't concerned, as if they didn't have medical walking with her, as if they didn't immediately address her.
I know accidents happen, but how do they happen? What changes are we trying to make to prevent it from happening again? I am not competing in a sport. I can drop a barbell on my head.
Yeah, you could drop a barbell on your head. What would CrossFit do then? Who would we blame?
But I want to be, if I have a cardiac arrest on the floor.
Oh, very interesting that you chose that. Very interesting. If you had a cardiac arrest on the floor.
Or the medical team will come on the floor and save me. And I believe that.
I would be saved. I believed I would be saved. I would not put your belief to be saved in another human. If you're going to put it in anybody, you might want to just put it in Jesus Christ. Because if you think that another human is going to come and save you, and that's your security, ain't nobody coming to save you, unfortunately.
But I feel like it's almost something happened and you decide to continue and let the cardiac arrest happen, and then it's just too late because the event has to continue. It has to finish. I wasn't there, but that's how I feel. And also the fact that we don't get.
That's how I feel. That's how I feel. I feel. This is how I feel. This is how I feel. This is what we need. It's interesting to me that she said if I had a cardiac arrest, that the medical team would run out there and they would save me. Well, what happens if that cardiac arrest happened in water? What happens? How does the medical team run and save you then? What happens if at the same time that event, that cardiac event is taking place, that there's a distraction to the left. Somebody jumps in the water. And now the medical team or the eyes on water are now looking at who's jumping in the water. Wouldn't that just be a really fucked up situation? And a tragedy occurred because of that? Oh man. All right. Well, that's enough with Annie there. I couldn't believe the perspective in which it was coming from, which is her belief that she implanted in herself by telling herself the story that she would be saved, that CrossFit would come and save me. And then she happened to use her words, not mine. What happens if a cardiac event happens on the floor? I would hope that the medical team would rush over and save me. You would hope, except for that a cardiac event doesn't happen on the floor and it happens in the water. It complicates the situation by a hundredfold.